What's going on, GameDad fam? I'm Josh, the GameDad, and this is 20XDX. You may be getting some very strong Megaman vibes from this. 20XDX is a roguelike Megaman-esque game. So it's basically the Mega Man gameplay you know and love, but with randomized elements introduced. So you get randomly thrown into your first level, beating it allows you to pick from one of 3 randomly generated levels with a series of bosses. Your upgrades are all randomized and so on, which means that the way you handle run to run is going to depend entirely on the things you get. And it's phenomenal. You can get it on Steam, it's available on the Nintendo eShop, it's on the PlayStation Network, it's on the Xbox Live Arcade. I don't care who you are, I recommend getting this. Now, this isn't exactly a brand new game, but not enough people know about it, so I just figured I would do a quick episode on it because it's so much fun and I enjoy it so much. So I just kind of going to give you guys a high-level overview of the stuff that's involved. So you can see the leaderboards of what you've done, some training areas, specific challenges, daily, weekly, and more specified ones that you can do. You have 2 playable characters, Nina, who is the Megaman X stand-in, and then Ace, who is the Zero type stand-in. And they both have a variety of different regular blasters you can get. Very, very cool. Obviously, it has full controller support. It actually specifies that it's built for the Xbox 360 controller, but you can use whatever you got. As you beat bosses, you get things called chips. If you look down on the bottom left, you can see I only have 1 chip now because I've been spending them. You use them. You can either unlock items to permanently be able to get them on runs, and the first time you unlock them, you get one for free on any given run. You can get permanent upgrades. So, for instance, you're starting NRG, which is your special weapon energy. The blue meter up on the top left becomes 12. Or you have a core chest, which gives you an item drop available at the beginning of every run. Things like that. And then here you can just find some items that you can choose to begin your next run to make things easy. So that's about it. Or here, toggle permanent upgrades. You can actually turn them off if you just don't want to make things harder for yourself. And it does have multiplayer. This game is top to bottom dope. I cannot recommend it enough. But let me give you an idea. I'm going to play on normal, just rather than going too crazy. And just to give you an idea of things, I will play as Nina because, you know, the X archetype is a bit easier for people to see. So my first thing I ran into from that chest is a new type of shot, the Cardinal shot, which shoots in 4 directions. You can tell the music is some serious Mega Man X vibes. Yes, you do have a dash. The Cardinal shot won't really improve my damage, but it's a lot easier to hit things from below or above. Or behind you. It's generally very useful in its own way. Now, if you see that beehive-looking thing up there, if I go in the green, I can't be affected by those things it spits out. So, that's what the green things are for. It's to give you a safe place to try and take them out while you take them out. I don't really have another way to say that. The levels are, as I said, all randomly generated, but the algorithm does a good job of making them feel varied. But you get certain things. Like if you see platforms going off, follow them. You'll probably be able to find an item. Okay, and sometimes enemies will drop things like the +1s you just saw. Whoa, 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 whoa. You absolutely are not guaranteed health in this game. Let me tell you right now. So, trust me, you don't want to take unnecessary hits if you can avoid it. Now, oh, shoot!
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
The +1s you saw, those are nuts. You use those at shops you can find along the way, or at vending machines to either get items or health or whatever. So a vending machine here, 3 nuts is 1 life. I'm going to skip it for now because I've only taken 1 damage. But, you know, and so you can find them being given out at different rates. Sometimes it'll be 3, sometimes it'll be 4, sometimes it'll be 1 or 2. So 3, it tends to be kind of average, so I'm not in any pressing hurry. If I found it in 2, I would probably have done it. This is a fork shot. Now, obviously, I lose the ability to hit above me, but the thing about having the 3 shots isn't just that they split, they each individually hit and hurt things. So against, say, a boss that's a bit bigger, this has the ability to hit it with multiple shots, which will amp up my damage considerably. Very good usage. My damage per shot is very close to the same. I think it might be slightly higher, but not enough that you would be concerned about it. But it is a very good shot to have. It's not my favorite, but it's good. Okay. Yeah, you see it. It deals some pretty decent damage. That's a warp, obviously, to get across things. Come through here. Pretty bog standard. It's very simple opening level. Nothing too crazy about it. See, yeah, 2 to 1. So if I had spent 3 earlier, regardless of the health drops I've gotten, I would have been far more upset. Shatter Peak is the first boss I'm going up against. The Icy Avenger. So he uses, obviously, ice-based specials. He is not very big, so I'm unfortunately not going to be able to cheese it and get him with multiple shots very often. But it allows me to kind of just stand here and continuously shoot and easily get him. So it still worked out as a positive. I'm in a more or less safe location, able to take him down. Now, if you look on the bottom left, I have 1 second left. In other words, I completed it just fast enough that I got a bonus chest out of it with some various health and an item. Ninja Sash increases my speed. So, it's not a huge boost, but as you get run speed, you will start noticing it. And speed is always nice. Now, at the end of the level, you always can take the boss's special power, which uses NRG, as you know, as I've said, a stack of nuts, which gives you 10 nuts, or an augment, which makes your regular attacks deal +1 more damage. Oh, this is where the bonus item came into play, by the way. You always get a chest from the boss, but by beating it fast enough, you get a bonus just as well. So, just to show you, oftentimes I take the augment, because I'm just so used to this game that I like the idea of just being able to bust things up with a regular shot. But for the purpose of making things a bit more fun, I will get Shatter Peak. Also because Splinter Frost is a good move. There are some that are, they're questionable use, but Splinter Frost is a good one. So I got some health, got some soul chips. That's the things I use for the upgrades. You can save and quit out. So, here are the 3 boss choices. I've got the Vile Visage, which is a face. The Eternal Star, he's like a pterodactyl-looking thing. And then Kerr, he's almost like a flaming goat. I'm going to fight the Vile Visage because he's basically takes up the entire screen, which means my triple shot is basically tailor-made to take him out. And so that's basically how the game progresses. You take the things you get and you run with it. If I had gotten, there are shots that are basically like almost borderline cannons targeted out for an individual shot, which are great against certain enemies, but, they have their drawbacks. The triple shot, on the other hand, spreads the damage out, but if I'm fighting Vile Visage, it's my absolute first go-to. A very safe laboratory. What could go wrong? Oh, is it safe? Earth metal plating. Become one with the planet. May reduce output. Sure. What does that do? So. I'm not perfectly sure. There have been some updates. They're constantly updating the game. So this could very well be something new I haven't, discovered yet. Ah, poop. Well, I mean, there's another one there, so. That was rather foolish of me to jump the way I did. Oh, come on. I'm really showing off my skill, aren't I? But I mean, you should pick up from the Mega Man X playthrough that I am, in my estimation, a decent Mega Man X player. I am by no means top tier. By no means. I mean, I'm pretty good given optimal situation. Oh, God! What was that? It was a trap. Is there something over here by any chance? Or am I just wasting my time? Wasting my time. Gotcha. But you do want to explore because you never know when the path will lead to that one extra item. Okay, a glory zone. So, I have to take out all the enemies here without getting hurt. And I have a time limit. But if I do it without getting hurt, I get a bonus. And I did. So, what do I got here? The Draco Pence Fang Core. Charging up boosts your next attack too. So, charging now becomes like a perpetual thing. Pay attention to her helmet. Now, bam! Your outfit actually changes as you get different upgrades and things, so it's cool. So now when I charge, I fire, and my next attack is automatically a charge shot. Which is handy for obvious reasons. Being able to basically store a charge shot allows me to get a little bit more... You know, a little bit more OPAR with the damage shots. Oh, come on! Oh, but that dropped force. Jesus! 4 soul chips, you barely ever get that from bosses, let alone from a random enemy. That's huge. That's great. Really handy. Ah, poop. Okay. Ho, ho! 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 Oh, shoot. No! No! Oh, God. Yeah, this run's going magnifique, let me just say. Okay, when you see stuff like this, yep, usually leads to something, and it did. Oh, the Excalibur. So it doesn't actually turn me into a sword user, but what it does is it makes it so that I lose some of my max NRG for special weapons, which I realize I have to use Splinter Frost still. And I also lose some of the power from my special weapons. Okay, but in exchange, my regular attack damage goes up and my health goes up. My max health, I should say. Oh, jeez. Didn't even realize. Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, now you can see, getting Excaliburs in a run, if you get a run where you run into like 2 of those, you're gonna tear through stuff pretty quick. And without a lot that can stand in your way. Okay, see that kitty? Oh, yay! The key shows up in certain levels, basically, and that's a upgrade you can unlock. One of the permanent upgrades with soul chips. Basically, he'll show up and he'll give you a care drop, so I got a whole bunch of health there, which was for obvious reasons, Sandy. The scrap recycler will sell you things or, you know, go for health. 50% off for a slight boost. So only 5 for a point extra of damage is really, really good mathematically. Charging draws in power-ups and max health plus 2. I'm going to skip that. Let me come back here. That one's for 3, this one for 2. Yeah, so this is the one to use. 1, 2. Okay, 1 short. That's fine. So, I will show you Splinter Frost, but I mean, I'm going to try and use my newfangled double charges on this dude. So, Splinter Frost basically shoots like an icicle spear. And it's very shotgun ice. Where it is useful is when I'm taking those things out. Okay. Yeah, and you can see how, especially now that I have Excalibur, he does not last very long under a barrage of damage. Done. It's that simple. And I mean that... Oh, and another Excalibur. So that's... Whenever you start getting that, you get multiple Excaliburs, you're basically saying, well, I guess I'm just going full-on blasting for this playthrough. Okay, so now I can do Mass Health, get plus 10 nuts, or Force Nova. Force Nova is still useful even when you don't have a lot of power because it can block shots, but I'm just going to go for the simple old... I'll do Life plus 1. That's a heal as well of 1. So, and the extra max life is nice. I will do one more level before I kick off this video. So, we can do Astral Twins, which is 2 enemies. Rollster or Perforator. Good adventurers go left. So, you Get the green shield. Super hot facility. Also, yeah, the enemies, even though the levels are randomly generated, the overall themes are the same. So, Shatter Peak is always going to have a level focused on ice. Rollster is always going to have a level focused on... Or not Rollster, Perforator, excuse me. Is always going to have a level focused on fire. Like, that part is always the same, even if the actual layout is different. So you can get certain ideas before you go in. Now that's where it's like the focus on it being like a Megaman roguelike. Like certain elements are reliably the same. You have a fire boss, you have an ice boss, you'll have all that. And then certain elements change every single run. And so you can never, you know, like the thing about Mega Man, I love Mega Man with all my heart. I do. It's one of my all-time favorite series. I could play it all the time, and that's just it. I do. I've mentioned before, I have two kids, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, the older one, Gideon, and a one who turned 5 just this past week, my younger one, Joel. And Joel loves him some Mega Man. He actually has a Mega Man plushie that he sleeps with. Loves Mega Man, and oftentimes when he asks me to play with him, he asks me to sit down and play Mega Man. I actually, to make things easier, Power Enhancer is kind of useless. It outdoes 1.5, or it undoes 1.5 of the Excaliburs I picked up. That's basically what that does. But, I mean, it's useful if you have a power-based build, which I've done before, and it's very fun. I just want everyone to understand, like, going Pure Blasts is efficient, but it's not necessarily the only way to do it. Okay. So this one is kind of like the previous... You have to get to the end without taking damage. They're actually not even that difficult. I just, you know, failed. But anyways, my younger son, the 5-year-old, he loves Mega Man. I actually went and got the Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 on Switch so that I can more easily play it without having to hook up my Super Nintendo wherever or anything like that, and so that I have access to X4, X5, so on and so forth. Leaf Pedal. I will go for both the speed boots. +2 run speed, +1 jump height, +2 run speed. And you can see I'm actually moving a little bit noticeably faster, and so it becomes really handy when you're trying to dodge things, and you can just jump right out of the way of stuff. So he loved Mega Man to the point where I have played with him Mega Man X. On my Super Nintendo Classic is where he developed the love for it, because I modded it, I've explained before. And I have a Mega Man X, X2, and X3, Mega Man 7, and Mega Man and Bass, a translation of it for the Super Nintendo version. I have played all 5 of those games, beginning to end with him, so many times. He actually has memorized, you know, most of the times which boss is in which. I can play the level music for him, and he can often tell me which game it comes from, like, loves Mega Man. And as much as I love Mega Man, one thing about it is you will hit a point. Okay, so I have 1 gold token. I can spin it, and I get nothing. Alright. It happens. The scrap recycler is always the same throughout the level, so there's nothing new I can access here. But I can heal if I want to. I just don't care to. Yeah, so the thing about Mega Man is you will hit a point of memorization. I know everything beginning to end, so I already know what's coming. And so there's nothing you can really do to surprise me. Well, that allows you to get really good, but it also means that you will hit a point wherein you can get no more... Like, it can't throw something at you haven't seen. You never technically reach that point in this game, because how can you memorize the layout of a level that changes every time? So you can get used to basic ideas. A Band of Might is the same thing as the other attack boost I got, but it's +2 instead of +1. In each one of these is a flat extra 1 damage. I will get the nut stack because that's handy. And boom. So yeah, so I played it so much, and it's fun. Don't misunderstand me. Mega Man's always fun, but there comes a point where it becomes I've done this, I've seen this, I'm not surprised by any of this. You don't have that with this game, because you can never truly memorize anything. Every run feels fresh because you'll get different powers, you'll face the bosses in different order, you'll get different upgrades, and they're all great. So ultimately, I just wanted to show you guys this game. It's really, really fun, it's not expensive, and it's worth so much. If you are a fan of Mega Man X and any of the related games, you owe it to yourself to pick up 20XDX. I am not sponsored or associated anyway with this game. I'm just a big, big fan, and I like to support good stuff and indie stuff when I have the chance. So I wanted everyone to know about this and everyone to see it. But I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about the game, please leave them below. And let me know, what is your favorite Mega Man-esque game? That could be a Mega Man. It could be Mega Man X. And it doesn't have to, like, basically, what's your favorite Mega Man game or almost Mega Man game is a better way to put it. It could be Mega Man, could be Mega Man X series games, could be Mega Man Zero, Mega Man Legends, Mega Man Battle Network. I know it's an RPG, but it is still Mega Man. Could be this, if you played it before, maybe some Shovel Knight action. There's lots of options. I want to hear what you have to say. Oh, Power Blade. That's a dope one from the NES. I'm going to play that someday. That game's great. But, yeah, so shout out below. Let me know what you think. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave a dislike if you didn't. And otherwise, I will catch you later, GameDad fan. All right.